Alright guys, so as I promised, I was going to fix this for you from the last video. There were some issues with Okta itself that I had to figure out, and some of the stuff that it was acting really weird, and I try to get some support from them, but being that it's the weekend here, it's gonna take a while, and I did want to finish this in a week and put it out for you guys, so I don't want to drag this on to Monday. I did have to change a lot of stuff throughout the pages that we created, and to be honest with you, I don't know how to get back to the to the state that we were. So instead of redoing it in front of you, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain each of the pages, and which you kind of need to understand what's going on anyway. So I'm going to explain each of the pages, and then you're just going to check with yours, and then just kind of change the things around in your own pages and hope that hopefully they'll match mine, and if they match mine, it should be fine. I'm not changing. If I change anything else in any other page, just follow the same thing, and let me know in the comments of that if that didn't work out, and I'll try to do something else about it. Okay. All right. So let's start from the App.js here. So basically, I didn't do anything here, I don't think. This is still going to be importing my header and my React router dump, and then it's importing this app with router access file that I created, and eventually I'll explain what happened there. And then in here, inside my router, I am basically just inputting two components: the header, which will be just up here, and and I think this was all in one line. All I did was just break it down into stack, so that's not a big deal. And then the app with router access component that is going to be generating the views in here as I change, as I link, navigate to my links. Okay, so nothing else goes on in the App.js. Okay, all right. So now let's navigate inside this component and see what happens once this renders. So the first thing that happens when it renders, all of this should be fine. You should still have all these imports the same way. These are the same imports that we had from all the pages that we have in the system right now. And then we have an app with router access component declared, and I'm making use of the history and use history hook. Okay, this was also unchanged, so this should be fine from the one that you have. And then that is making then I have a function here called onAuth required, and this is basically making a call to the history right here hook, and making a push to the login, so that so that if it's if the authorization is required, if it requires to be authorized, if it's a secure link, basically send the link, the domain, basically the DOM, to the login path at the end of your domain. Okay, then we're declaring here what the Okta authorization will look like. There is a new creation of the Okta auth object, in which you will have your user ID, which I explained already, and nothing really changed here too much. So basically you just have to change this in it to make sure that it matches your where is it? Do I still have it up here? Well, anyway, you saw from the last video where to find this, right? So just make sure it matches that, and make sure that it matches your client ID, which we also have that. We have a redirect URI, basically, that says, if something were to happen, and the login didn't work or whatever, basically send them to this login callback right here, and that login callback is basically going to be the widget from login. Okay, and then we have the unauthorized. This is just part of the configurations of Okta, and I think I added this, but I don't think it's really necessary. You can omit this if you want to, so you don't really need this. but I added it as part of my efforts to debug this. Alright, and this package was already there. Alright, so the first thing we're looking at here is the restore original URI. Okay, I didn't change anything here. This should still be the same way that it came. Oops, the same way that it came from the Okta integration that we did. And then I did change a couple of things here. So on the security here, what I did was I brought the login. I made the login a secure route. So instead of a route, it's gonna say secure route, and that's gonna be the path, and then the component that is gonna be called is gonna be the sign-in. Before it was just doing a render. Okay, so now it's going to be doing this right here, and it's going to be a secure route. Okay, so this is going to force the login widget to pop open. So we're not going to use our custom login. We're going to use the login widget from Okta itself. Okay, so moving along here, let's now go to what I did with the header. Let's go to the header. So the header changed a couple of things from the last video. I had the login button here somewhere as the last item, and I had it there so that when you log in, it showed when you were logged in, it showed log out, and then when you were logged out, that it would replace to login. The problem with that is that for that to happen, you have to make a call to the auth state from Okta, and the auth state is going to be checked for whether it is I'll show you what it is here. You have to make a call to the auth state right here, right, which is in the sign-in page. I'm showing you basically what it is, and then you have to then check if the auth state is authenticated, and whether it is authenticated or not, then you would show a button that says log in or log out. Now, what's the problem with that is that the header is a component that is going to show without any dependency of authorization, and that creates a problem, because since it's going to show no matter what, whether it's authorized or not, then you're at the same time telling it to do something depending on whether the state of that component, the header, is authorized or not. But to the header, authorization means nothing. So there was creating conflict there where you have a bunch of people in a room that don't know what's going on. Okay, so I had to remove it. So, but that's not a problem, because in most applications you're going to have two different types of system built in when you have an authorization in place. You're going to have your system of pages that are going to require to be logged in, and there's going to be a button somewhere there for login. And when you hit that login, you eventually going to abandon those series of pages, that entire design. You're going to abandon that and go into another build that has basically your ability to log out, but it's not going to be, they're going to be separated. Okay, so that's not a problem then. Removing that from here, from the login, is actually the right thing to do. You shouldn't really have it up there. Alright, so I mean, there are ways that you can share the header across both components, but that will make it a lot more complicated, and we're trying to keep this as basic as possible, and then you can grow on your own eventually and build that out. So the only thing that I did was I basically added this pages, I added this protected page, a link to the protected page, and I added a link to our regular about page, which is a public page, right? According to our routes here, our about page is open, but our protected page is secure. So the reason why I did that is to test whether I can get into that protected page or not, if I'm logged in or not. If I am logged out, I shouldn't be able to click here and get into it. And if I am logged in, then yes, then it should be, I should be able to get into it. So that's basically why I put it up here, just so I can access it. Okay, that's all it really does here. Alright, so now let's look at what's going on in the protected page itself. Now, because it is a protected page, it is going to make use of the authorization service, and it's going to call Okta authorization from the authorization service or hook. and it's basically all I have to, I mean, you can make this as big as you want. You can put this on, actually I'm just going to make a class name container here, so it's container, so it is kind of centered a little bit. There you go. And then this is just going to be an h1, so it looks more like a normal regular pages. Okay, this is protected, and then I'm just gonna put a p tag here. Then basically you can only see this if you are logged in. All right, and then a button at the end, which I am going to put another class name as well, just so it looks a little better. Oh, that's messed up. There you go, container. And then I'm gonna put here a btn secondary. Yeah, there you go. And then basically all I'm doing here now is telling you know, just whatever I want to put in the page, but in this case I'm telling the person that he is logged in and he is in there, and then there's going to be a button to sign out. Okay, so I'm just going to save that, and eventually you'll see it. Right now I don't think I'm logged in, so it will force me if I try to go over there. All right, now let's look at the, okay, so the sign-in form. Actually, let's look at the sign-in. Did we look at the sign-in already? Yeah, I think we looked at the sign-in, but let's explain it over again just in case I didn't and I don't remember. This is also using the Okta authorization service. But the reason what this is going to actually do is basically going to call the auth state. The sign-in is going to make a decision first before it automatically arbitrarily lets you sign in. It's either going to send you to, if you are authenticated, it's going, you know, if this is true, it's going to send you here, and if it's false, it's going to send you here. So if it's true, it's going to send you to the about page, right? But it doesn't have to be, it could be any page that it sends you. What I wouldn't do is, I wouldn't do this because that will create a loop that will send you back to the home page, and the home page is kind of like waiting for you to also, it's going to have that login page, so it's going to create that little loop thing. So the reason why we've been doing this issue here is because you should have like a portal signing, login, and all that, and your home page should be kind of like a dashboard or something. So they should be different. So this right here should send you to another page, and then eventually you can then navigate from there after you are logged in. But if you need to be logged in, then it's going to send you to the login page, which is going to be secure. Okay, so this is going to be basically a public page, and this is going to be a secure page. Okay, all right, easy enough. And now the sign-in form, which I actually I'm not really using it, but everything else here is exactly the same. I didn't really change anything in here. The forms here, you can make it look like the form from the form fields from Bootstrap if you want to eventually figure this part out and use this form. I'm not going to use it because I don't want to burn out time, because I am still able to use the widget anyway. So but if you want to, go ahead and use this. Alright, so now that was it. That is basically, let me just make sure if I remember correctly. Yeah, if I remember correctly, that was everything there. So now let's test our application. So we're at a home page here, and we need to check the about page, which is a public page. Everybody can see it. This is for every user, and there it is. Let's actually go to the about page and make this a little bit better. So we're going to make use of our page title and our about page, and we're gonna add that in there, and then we're gonna bring this class container, and we're gonna put that in there, and we're going to bring in this thing here, this page title, and we're gonna add it in there. We're not gonna use any of these button text, nothing like this. We're not making use of any of that. Let's just do this. Boom, you are, yeah, you are in the about page. This is a public page. Yep, and anyone can see it. Yep, there you go. That's good enough. Do we need a link for home? Nah, not really. We don't need a link for home, so that's okay. All right, so here we are. You're in the about page, right? You can change this in any way you want. So I can still see my home page. Technically, this probably should be, this right here should probably, you should have another page called dashboard, and then you should move all the stuff to that dashboard and then make that dashboard protected. Then you can use this home page as your login page, and then everything will work. But since we're kind of like intermingling two different pages that use two different systems, secure and non-secure, this is why it's causing so many issues. But yeah, so that's still public. This is still public. You can still access this, and everything is here. Now, protected is protected, right? I am not able to get in there because I'm not logged in. So if I click on it, oh, I'm sorry, I was logged in. Let's go ahead and log out. Sorry. All right, so I am logged out. So now that I am logged out, I'm gonna go ahead and click on protected, and because I am logged out, it's forcing me to log in. So I'm going to sign in, and now I can see my, you can only see this if you're logged in. I can still make, I can still see everything that I want. And if I click on login again, it's still gonna send me to my, to my page that if you are logged, this one, it's gonna send me here, because if it's authenticated, which I am, send me here, right? But if I am not, so I'm gonna go ahead and log out, then it forces me to log in. If I am not authenticated, it sends me to the login, widget. Then I can sign in, and it should be back in the about. There we go. All right. Okay, guys. So that is pretty much everything that I could explain. There is a lot more to go with, such as, for example, right now that I am logged in, I actually have access to the user information, and I can harvest that API and get the name of the user. And then when I go to my home page, I can put the author here and attach the user that is logged in by name and last name. That all that information is inside that API that you're retrieving from being logged in. I'm not going to do that because I'm not sure if what you're going to be working with at your job is going to use Okta. So should I even waste my time teaching you how to do it with Okta when you're probably not going to be even using Okta to begin with? I don't know. That's kind of like a waste of time. So so we're not going to do that. But there are documentations in Okta that explain you how to do it, and there are other tutorials out there from other YouTubers that do it. So go ahead and have at it. But since that's kind of like a little bit more, it depends on really what system you want. Or you're not one, but you're going to be facing Okta or Firebase or anything like that, then I'm just gonna leave it like that. Okay, but I think as of right now, you basically can grab this now, and then you can expand from this and move things around, refactor the application as much as you want to, and break it if you want to, and rebuild it back up. Okay, the only one thing that I would suggest is to go to GitHub. Go to GitHub. Go to GitHub. Main GitHub. Okay. So go to GitHub and create. Here, go to your GitHub and create a new application right here. Not a new application, new repository. So right here, new repository, and name it, I don't know, React app or whatever you want to name it. Whatever you don't have, make it private so you don't have to. And follow don't add it, git ignore, because we already have one here. And just gonna follow this right here is pretty self-explanatory. And then once you do that and it's already your Git is working here, then you basically just come over here and put Git init and Git add and then Git commit and Git push. You're gonna use those four Git commands. And I have another tutorial that I go over those Git commands. So just go ahead and watch those tutorials to teach you how to do that. I'm not gonna do it here, but do that and then submit this stuff to your a repository, so that if you break your application a lot and you can find your way back, you can always recall a previous state of your application where it was working. It's kind of like having backups and always a way to go back to the previous that was working, and everything will be fine. Okay? Alright guys, well, it's been a pleasure teaching you, and I am excited for this course, and you know, I hope that you guys take this and build it out, and maybe stick around for other courses, since I am going to possibly do one for Angular as well, and Vue. Okay? Alright, well guys, on to the next course. I'll see you later.